What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday, and if it's Tuesday, it's Jason Sukamel Day. We're here to talk about your Longhorns. Flip season is just about here, or should be upon us. It's coming soon. We'll recap a little bit of a Texas OU to make everybody just happy again. I think everyone just still wants to smile over that. Maybe one more day, Jason, and
Yeah,
then
we're not the hump day yet. We can still reflect on that game.
yeah. Listen, they could have they can have a 24-hour rule. We don't have to. Like we don't. We're not on the team,
We
right?
created that shit on Saturday afternoon, man. Look, it's right before kickoff with Kentucky. Yeah, exactly.
So like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Jason, I was looking at the board, and we've talked about this previously, but not everyone watches every single show every single day. So it looks like when you look at some of the top guys in recruiting in this state, Jason, it looks like everyone's committed. Jason, like I was looking at a list, and I think it may have been a 24/7 list of the top guys in the state of Texas. Everyone was done. Like, is it fair to say, like, for the most part, because this is set up where we're going, for the most part, most of the horses seem like they'd be in the barn?
Yeah, I would go as far to say not even for the most part. I mean, for the entirety. They're like, if you look at and I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but if you look at like the top 100 players in the country, I don't know that unless somebody recently decommitted that I'm not thinking of, but I don't think there's anybody who's uncommitted, man. I mean, like everybody's got their classes full. Now schools are trying to hang on to their own commitments, including Texas. And then you've got these coaches getting fired mid-season, so that kind of changes some things there. So, you're right. There's not a lot of action with 2026, aside from guys that are going to be flipping over the next couple of months.
Yeah, well, hell, Jason, you ask and you shall receive. I'll just put this on the screen because I have this here. I'll have the rivals. Make sure am I sharing the right screen here, Jason? Here.
Yeah, that's the rivals.
I'm gonna take the chat down for a second. All right. Well, let's play this game here. By the way, let me make this a little bit.
I did not realize they had Lamar Brown #1 overall. That's okay. See, these rankings change all the time.
Okay, so let's see. I'm going to see how far down my Dia Bell's at number 5. By the way, that's kind of cool. Let's see how far down we can go, Jason. They got 2 of the top 10 in the nation. 3 of the 12. That's pretty good. Jason, we are at 25.
Rolling, yeah.
Exactly. We're at 25. We haven't found a kid who's not committed yet. We just got past the goodness.
Derek Cooper, 38, checking in. There's James Johnson, 43 for Texas. Yeah, so there's the top 50. And
all right, wait. Well, let me load more, Jason. Let me keep going.
We can fill a whole show just doing this. There's turn time, 55.
I know, and everybody
players here. That's the good news. Yeah, so
everybody like Jason. I mean, this is a hell of an exercise that we're doing, Jason. We haven't gotten to a person. We're in the 90s, Jason.
Yeah, everybody. Well, I said everybody in the top 100 is committed. That's crazy, man. So it would probably go to 200 if you wanted to do it. But
wow, what?
And I've never seen a recruiting cycle like this. Usually, you have some guys who wait till the fall. I don't know why. Honestly, why this is so different. The recruiting timelines have changed. That now guys take spring and summer official visits, and most guys are just like, hey, I just want to get it done before my senior year. Now they say that, and they still go take other visits, work with other schools. And like in my 3-2-1 Anwar, I'll take it even further, man. I've got updates on 2 2027 guys. These guys are juniors, and they're planning on committing in December before they even take their official visits. So, Jaquan Snell was one. So, I mean, one of the top players in the country. So, weird, kind of a weird dynamic. I've never seen a recruiting calendar get pushed forward as much as we have this year, but I think it's the new norm. I think that's what we're going to continue to see moving forward.
Do you think some of this simply, Jason, is based off of I've shot myself around, I've got the best NIL deal that I can get, I know what I'm going to get when I sign the paperwork in December. I'm good, right? I mean, it seems like that has to be it, right, Jason?
I think that's a huge part of it. I mean, back in the old days, we're going back, 10 years or whatever.
3 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. Guys would take their official visits in the fall, and then they would commit in the fall, and they didn't take a lot of unofficial visits. Now, man, there's rarely a weekend when these recruits stay home. I mean, these underclassmen recruits, they've taken so many game visits. They take so many visits during the summer for camps and junior days. I mean, seriously, the guys Texas is recruiting in that 2027 class, they've probably visited Texas 3, 4, 5 or more times already. So they've kind of got their homework done already, right? And you're absolutely right. I mean, someone on Orange Bloods asked me this, said, hey, does Sark need to change his philosophy and kind of move up his timeline and his aggressiveness early on? Because A&M's doing it and it's paying off. Texas Tech is doing it and it's really paying off. And I said, yeah, I think he does need to do that. They've done it to some degree, but they need to get more aggressive even earlier. And that does include on more NIL offers. I mean, it's a slippery slope though, because, once you do that, you can't take it back. It's tough to do. And if you do that to a guy when he's a junior in high school, and then maybe he doesn't develop or his senior year or has off-field issues or he gets lazy, whatever, then you're like, oh shit, we're stuck with this guy. But I mean, that's what you're seeing A&M doing. That's what Texas Tech is doing. And it's paying off for them with a lot of the top elite targets in the state. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. They're doing their legwork a lot earlier. These recruits are, and they're getting the NIL pitches a lot earlier. And I think Texas needs to maybe adjust their strategy a little bit. I say that, I say that, and there'll be somebody in the chat will say, that's not how Sark operates, and they still recruit really well. Well, that's true. And they have. Sark's always said, like, hey, I don't worry about recruiting in like May or June. Okay, that's true, and it's worked for them until it doesn't, right? There's going to be a year when it doesn't, when A&M and Texas Tech kind of beat you to the punch on some of these guys. So I get it. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it on one hand. But on the other hand, you've got to change with the times and adjust with what the other schools are doing.
Now, how much of it, Jason, as well, I'm kind of curious, how much of it is potentially that Texas has decided, okay, we got our budget, but we might come later after a guy, and this should say like, all right, we know what that offer looks like. We'll give you a little bit more.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Justice Terry last year, right? You got a guy like, I think like a big fish that they're still, okay, Chris Henry, who's a wide receiver. He's committed to Ohio State. He's been committed to Ohio State for a long, long time. I mean, Texas probably isn't going to get him, but they're still talking to him. They have been for a year and a half or better. To get Chris Henry to flip from Ohio State, you're going to have to just knock him over with an NIL deal. So there is some truth to that too on those truly elite guys. If you want to get them late, yeah, you come in at the 11th hour and be like, hey, we know what Ohio State's giving you. We're going to give you that plus this, and and you see if it works. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. A guy like Malachi Lee, an offensive lineman who's committed to Michigan. Jalen Lott committed to Oregon. Are those guys you could come in at the last minute with a very lucrative NIL offer and possibly flip them? Yeah, it's possible, but you got to save that for the truly elite of the elite guys like those guys I just mentioned.
Yeah, so we're talking. Those have to be like the 5 stars. You're saying, right? Unless something really bad happens, right? And one of your guys like decommits, right? And then you're just like in scramble mode, right? And so it's interesting. It's interesting, because we're going to get into flip conversation in a second. How much for you, Jason, is it about, hey, recruiting what's still out there, flipping what's out there, or shifting your focus to, all right, we'll just wait and see what's available in the transfer portal in January, right? How much of that, or do you think they're just doing it all at once?
That's a good question. Because you don't really know right now. I mean, they might have an idea who's going to be in the transfer portal. They might have some idea. The coaches might. I don't know. But, Yeah, you got to save some of that ammunition for the transfer portal, obviously. And like we said, I mean, there's not a whole lot of 2026 recruiting to do right now. To me,
Mhm.
your focus should be on retaining the current class you have, maybe 3 or 4 guys you're trying to flip, obviously transfer portal. But yeah, they need to shift that focus to 2027. I mean, we're seeing Texas Tech doing it. We're seeing Texas A&M doing it. And I've seen all these whatever they're called, future casts or whatever. I don't even know what they're called anymore. But like predictions coming in,
Yeah.
A&M is going to land like all these top players in the state of Texas, including John Marriott, the number 1 player in the state. There's been Steve Wiltfong from Rivals is now predicting him to go to Texas A&M. Jaquan Snell, who I wrote about, is predicting possibly to go to Texas A&M. So, yeah, I mean, I think you've got to do all of it all at once, right? But I think some of that also needs to be focused on the 2027 group. I think Texas is a little bit behind there.
Let's look at some of the guys of recent that we've talked about, Jason. Any of these things that stand out for you, because these are the flips that I had. So you had 4 in the last class, right? With Myron Charles, Dalen McCutcheon, Cade Phillips, and Terry. You see the ones that happened before that. What stands out to you about some of these things, maybe even the 2025 class, because that seemed like to be a really strong one as well?
Yeah, 2025, Texas was fortunate because Florida State really struggled. So Dalen McCutcheon kind of opened up his recruitment. Cade Phillips was kind of an example of what you mentioned earlier, where Texas just really liked him. Really neat. He was a one-time Texas commit who flipped to LSU, and then they went. Texas got aggressive with him at the very end, flipped him back to Texas. Justice Terry was interesting because he was an early USC commitment, but then he pulled off of that really early. So I don't really consider him a flip. He was almost more uncommitted when he committed to Texas. But yeah, it's just kind of each one of those. It's just situational. Xavier Filsamy was a guy that Texas was flirting with behind the scenes and got aggressive with really late. Anthony Smith committed to A&M, but always was kind of talking to Texas behind the scenes. He would deny it every time I talked to him. He would deny it, but I'm like, dude, I know it's happening. Just come on, he would like flat out lie to me about it. But yeah, DeAndre Moore committed to Louisville and going up to 2023. That was. No one really expected him to stick with Louisville. That was a weird commitment to begin with. A guy from California commit to Louisville. But remember, that's when Louisville was they were throwing around some pretty big NIL offers, like Reuben Owens, I think.
Oh, yeah, Reuben. Yeah, Reuben was committed for like 2 weeks.
Yep, yeah, Anthony Hill. That was just a one where he committed early and Texas just kept chipping away. But, if I look at those ones, like the ones we're talking about for this cycle, hey, might Texas be able to flip Jalen Lott? I almost can compare them more closely to Cade Phillips, a guy who they just came in on late or came back to late and said, hey, we really like you. We really want you. Here's what we're willing to do to get you to come to Austin. And it worked out.
So who are some guys, Jason? Who are some potential guys in 2026 that Texas was in on before, like a Felix Ojo before, right? Who are some guys that, maybe they can spin the block on? Because they always stay in contact with guys, right? So do we know that they don't just not stop talking to guys? So is there any things some doors that potentially could open over the next couple of months?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about him a little bit, but there's one guy that's brand new we haven't talked about. He's an offensive lineman out of Florida. He's committed to UCLA. Micah Smith is his name. Okay, well, UCLA going through their, coaching issues. Kyle Flood actually went out and visited him and gave him a scholarship offer just this week. So, that one makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, and I think there's a lot of other schools getting involved there too. I mean, these coaches, they're like sharks drawn to blood. They're like, oh wait, James Franklin got fired. Let me go pull up their Penn State commitment list. But Texas did offer Micah Smith. We know Texas wants and needs another offensive lineman, right? So that one makes a lot of sense. I'd be shocked if he didn't come in for an official visit. I haven't talked to Micah yet, so I don't have a great feel on that one yet. But I'd be shocked just kind of reading the tea leaves. Kyle Flood's not going to offer him if he has no chance, right? The guy's committed to UCLA for now. I think there's a good chance Texas gets him on campus for a visit. Then we'll see we go from there. Someone mentioned Felix Ojo, and you mentioned Felix Ojo. I mean, something would have to go pretty haywire with him in Texas Tech, like the NIL deal falls through or gets kicked out or something. In talking to Felix, he's pretty locked in with Texas Tech. And I haven't talked to him in a minute, but I do know when he committed to Tech, like my sources in Austin were like, hey, we're not going to give up on that one because something could go haywire at the last minute, right? So if something was to happen with Felix Ojo, and I don't expect it to happen, Omar, I think Texas would be the place, but I just don't see that one happening. The big one that I still continue to watch is Jalen Lott. Obviously he's committed to Oregon. He did visit Texas for the Sam Houston game. I don't know that was like moved the needle a ton, but Texas really, everybody really likes him. He's the type of explosive receiver that Texas needs. They don't really have someone like him on their roster necessarily. I mean, he's not Xavier Worthy, right? No, I don't know that we're ever going to compare someone to Xavier Worthy, right, with his speed. But Jalen Lott kind of brings that same skill set to an offense as a receiver. So I think Texas continues to chip away there. I mentioned Malachi Lee. He's an offensive lineman from Hawaii, committed to Michigan. Texas kind of finished their second in that race. I know we had heard that Texas was going to make a late run at him or try to, but the fact that they're now offering Micah Smith, another offensive lineman, tells me, okay, maybe Malachi's not as responsive as they thought he might be. I've reached out to Malachi, and he's kind of gone radio silent, so not a whole lot there. One guy that I think we were talking about a couple months ago, KJ Edwards, the Texas A&M running back. Yeah. He was supposed to go to the Texas OU game. He didn't go. He's supposed to come to the Texas game when they play A&M. I don't think that will happen. I think that one's kind of cool. He visited A&M for a couple of their games. I think they kind of reeled him back in. I think Texas feels really good about where they sit with Derek Cooper, their running back commitment. So there's not necessarily that need to push for KJ Edwards. And then the other one I'll mention is Chris Henry. We talked about him, the Ohio State receiver commitment, just because he's such a dynamic player. Texas is still in touch. They're trying to get him into Austin for a game or a visit of some sort. Probably a long shot. I don't know when let me see if I can pull that up. I don't know when he committed to Ohio State, dude, but it's been like a couple of years. 2023, July of 2023, he committed. So almost 2.5 years. I mean, Texas has never stopped talking to him. I mean, he's a tremendous player, but again, you'd have to probably money whip him to get him to even remotely consider a flip. So those are some guys, Omar, but there'll be someone else who pops up. I mean, other coaching changes will open doors for guys. I mean, Micah Smith was a guy that I'd never heard of until Texas offered him. If I'm being he's an obscure lineman out of Florida, committed to UCLA. Why the hell would he be on my radar, right? Well, all of a sudden Texas offers him, like, okay, that dude's now on my radar. So there'll be somebody like that, some other guys that'll pop up, I'm assuming.
So, Jason, what do they say? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Who are the guys who are committed to Texas that you have to say to yourself, okay, wait, those guys are still taking visits. That one may not be a done deal. What about it on the flip side?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go down the list and we'll just blow through them real quickly. Okay, Diabell locked in. Richie Wesley, the defensive end, locked in. I mean, other schools aren't going to give up because he's a badass, but locked in. Tyler Atkinson locked in. Derek Cooper, the running back, he was at the Texas OU game on Saturday. He was flirting with Miami, the local school there. But I think Texas, they got him in for an official visit. He was at the Texas OU game. I think that one's, I don't say locked in because he's an out-of-state guy and Miami's still going to, keep trying there. But I think Texas is in a pretty good spot to hold on to him. John Turntime locked in. James Johnson, the defensive tackle out of Miami. I'm not going to say locked in because he did visit Miami. I think it was for their season opening game. Other schools in the state are still flirting with him a little bit, but I feel pretty good about Texas hanging on to James Johnson. Jermaine Bishop locked in. Bodney Cleveland, defensive lineman. Again, all these out-of-state guys, man, you got to worry about them a little bit. You always have to. I remember a coach telling me at one time, like out-of-state guys are just different from in-state guys. You have to recruit them as if they're uncommitted. So Bodney Cleveland, he's not given any indication or any reason to think that he might, be looking around. But they've got 4 defensive tackle commitments from out-of-state guys. I just keep waiting for one of these dudes to peel off. But I think Bodney's in pretty good shape. Chris Stewart and Cohen Brown, 2 wide receivers, locked in. Max Wright, I don't think you could pull him away with a bulldozer. That dude's locked in. Yeah. Nick Robertson locked in. Dylan Berryman's another one of these out-of-state defensive linemen. Ole Miss is really trying. He's saying the right things. On where I talked to him last week, and he was supposed to go to the Texas OU game. And he's saying, nah, I'm good with Texas. I'm not going to Ole Miss. But yet he keeps flirting with them. And he keeps showing up at he's been to a couple of their games. So that one's worth watching. Corey Wells is the other one, okay? Another defensive lineman, another defensive tackle out of state. He told me last week, hey, I'm good with Texas. I'm locked in with Texas. He did say Auburn's recruiting him really hard. And he's been to Auburn a couple times. Well, you know what? He was back at Auburn last weekend, right? So, again, if you got 4 defensive tackles, they're all from out of state. I just keep thinking something's got to give, and that's probably the position we need to be watching. So keep an eye on Corey Wells. The rest of the guys, I can go down Kosi Okpala, Hayward Howard, Samari Matthews, Yaheem Riley, and then the 3 specialist guys, Mikey Bukauskas, Jake Collette, Trot O'Neill. They all feel like they're pretty locked in. So I'm really focused on that defensive tackle group for the most part. And then I'm also going to keep an eye on Derek Cooper, the running back, just because. But yeah, I'm really more focused on that defensive tackle group, the 4 out-of-state guys, especially 2 of them have shown up on other campuses. So those guys are certainly worth watching.
So, Jason, at what point will things start heating up? And one of the last things on that topic is, Texas only has, 3 more home games left? Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and A&M. So which one of those games is going to be the heavy recruiting game of all of them left, or are they just going to go all chips on A&M?
No, I think Arkansas is going to be a pretty big week also. I've been talking to guys and kind of slowly compiling a list, and obviously I'll hit that harder closer to game time. But there are a lot of guys who told me they'll be in for that Arkansas game. The A&M game is going to be massive. I mean, you're going to have a lot of guys in for that game. But, yeah, I think that Arkansas, and there'll be some guys that come in for the Vanderbilt game. And, hey, you should. That probably be a pretty good game, honestly. Like everybody looks at that. But no, that's a pretty good football team.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that Arkansas I think is going to be – I think the staff is going to make a big push for recruits for that weekend, and then obviously A&M as well.
And A&M is the later game and stuff as well. So, hey, Jason, couple more things, and I'll let you run. You happy with this Texas team after the Oklahoma victory? You've had some time to digest it. Are you saying, like, okay, is what you saw versus Oklahoma what you expect to see going forward? Do you think there'll be another Florida kind of hiccup kind of game or / performance? Like, where's your head at as relates to this team, with only a few weeks left?
Maybe it's because I just enjoyed that win, just because, let's be honest, man. I mean, I would say, like, we're not fans, but our jobs are more enjoyable when Texas is playing well. It just is, right? The message board's more enjoyable. People aren't coming at us because somehow we screwed it up when they play bad, or I don't know if we get attacked and Texas doesn't play well. So, but I did enjoy Saturday watching Texas play well. And we're like, finally, there it is. That's what we've been waiting for. I've been pretty critical of this team, Anwar. I mean, and I've taken a lot of shit for it. And you and I feel like have been probably the most critical, like in our rankings and things. Like, hey, this team's not playing well. I don't care that they beat up on Sam Houston and they beat UTEP. I mean, I had them like 9th in the conference, 8th in the conference. I have them, I think, 6th in the conference. 6th. Is that okay this week? Just because I can't put them. The teams above them are still playing really well. But I said in my 3-2-1, like, you know what, dude, I'm all in on this team all of a sudden. Okay. I think what they showed in that second half against Oklahoma, maybe they don't play that dominantly the rest of the season, but if they can even get in that realm, I think this team has a chance to go undefeated all the way up until the A&M game, and then I'll reassess because A&M's playing really good football. But, early, if you had asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said, no, they're going to lose to Georgia. They might lose to Vanderbilt. They might lose at Mississippi State. But now I was like, nah, I think Texas is the better team. I think they're the better team than Georgia. I just do, when both teams are playing their best football. Now, does that mean they won't go to Georgia and stub their toe or have a stinker of a day? I mean, anything's possible, of course. But I think Texas found something in that game against Oklahoma. I think they found their swagger a little bit, their confidence. I'm expecting them to kind of build on that momentum and be more like the Texas team we expected before the season started. Now, I say that, listen, you got to go to Kentucky and you need to win that game by 2-3 scores. Because if you go to Kentucky and win by like 6 points, I'm like, okay, I'm right back to where I was 3 weeks ago. Right? I think, and I'm usually the guy almost like, slow down. Hey, it's one game. It's one da-da-da. No. I don't know what it is, but my gut is telling me, hey, this Texas team kind of found its swagger a little bit against Oklahoma. I think it's going to carry over for the next several weeks.
Well, hell yeah, Jason. We'll take that as a hell of a prediction, and now you've jinxed them, right? Listen, Jason. For me, I thought it was really encouraging. What they were able to do. I mean, they made Mateer look like an amateur out there. They had Oklahoma playing in the phone booth the whole time, but the defense for me. That was the most encouraging thing for me, is that the defense kind of got back and rebounded after Florida, because I was worried. Because my thing was, Jason, the thing you can hang your hat on was the defense. If those guys don't show up, well, this team don't have a shot. So the fact that they were able to do that, I'm encouraged too. I don't know so are you encouraged enough, just real quick, are you encouraged enough to believe that they're going to run the table?
I didn't go that far. I said they're going to win their next 5, but I was like, A&M could show up to Austin undefeated. I mean, they still have to go, I think, at
LSU. You have them winning. Do you have them beating Georgia on the road?
I do have them beating Georgia. Oh. Yeah. So I have them winning, I guess it's their next 5, and then the A&M game, I said I'll kind of assess that one when that game comes, because A&M's playing pretty good football, although they've had a couple slow starts, in the last couple weeks. But I think A&M, they go at LSU. They have one other one that's fairly tough. But, I mean, this is an A&M team that very well could come to Austin undefeated. Okay? I'll look at that game when I see how both teams are playing. But, yeah, I think Texas, like I said, I think if Texas plays its best game and Georgia plays its best game, I think Texas wins. Okay? You mentioned that defense. That defense was flying around against Oklahoma. They were aggressive. I mean, Mateer was crap. Like, I don't know if that's, I assume he'll play better moving forward. But I mean, they defended the run well. I mean, that Texas defense had an edge to it against Oklahoma. If they can keep that edge against these next opponents, I think they can continue to win, including at Georgia.
All right, Jason. From your mouth to God's ears, I appreciate it, Jason. So I guess, Jason, this is definitely the last thing. So someone started the show by saying, "Hey, love your art question." This person, but Vivek goes, "Well, I don't know." Well, first of all, there really aren't a ton of people coming at me. Like it's a minority that speaks somewhat loudly. Got to admit, it was cringeworthy. What's interesting about that, though, Jason?
It wasn't Anwar's word. They used the article used the word flop, right? So
I didn't go like, hey, I said, were you aware of the people calling you that particular thing, and how did you handle it, right? So it was a follow-up question to a question that was already asked. I asked him about blocking the outside. No, here's the deal, Jason. You have teenagers, right?
Yeah.
And young people. You have because your oldest is how old, right? How old?
21. My oldest is
21. Yeah. Same age as Arch.
Yeah.
Are you able to keep any of them off their phones or off social media at all?
Honestly, my son doesn't use social media that much. My girls, hell no, they're addicted. But here's the deal. My son's 21. Arch is 21. Arch is a multimillionaire. Like, just whatever, dude. It's fair game at this point. He's a professional athlete. He's 21 years old. You can ask him whatever you want, man. That comes with the territory.
And the thing is, if the people watch the full exchange, Corey Mose has it. It actually was a fun exchange.
Yeah.
Like he was laughing, the room was laughing.
Even was that Bianco in the background? Even Bianco was like,
Yeah.
oh, they like even he was like tongue in cheek kind of.
Everybody got a good laugh out of it. Everybody got a good joke out of it. Sometimes people just gotta get out your feels. You got to get out your feels. It was not that serious. So in any case, I'm just gonna say that. Jason, get out of here. I'll see you on the podcast, meetings, whatever.
Sounds good.
I'll see you soon, Jason.
Okay,
Thanks.
see you.
Jason Suckermel, orangebuds.com. Flip season is upon us. It will be here soon. Everybody relax. Everybody go out and enjoy yourself. Remember, I always say, each day like it was your last. One day it will be. So go out, do something fun for yourself. You absolutely deserve it. Have you had a talk with Catch Mike Torres? About what? I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure what we're supposed to talk about. But if there's anything about the arch thing, I mean, anybody who's non-emotional will understand that was about as light could be. All right, y'all, get out of here. Go enjoy yourself. I'll be back podcast